All right, so our goal today is to go through our first day handout, let you guys know what to expect out of the class. I will have hopefully, as long as they have them, I will have the actual full first day handouts by Wednesday when you guys come back. The one that I passed out is just the, I guess, essential information for the specific class stuff. Looking at this will be the first page of your actual first day handout sheets. Here is you in the center, which is the student. And then along here are all of the different specialties that we have in MACA. Do you notice anything specific about the drawing? Like how things are mixed together? Yes, sir.
It kind of looks like a Prezi presentation in terms of...
Oh, don't say that.
I mean, like I've noticed the bigger the circle is, the more relevance it has. Like,
right.
You got all these medium-sized circles, which are like the different subjects. Then you got all these little circles, which are like different, I don't know, something connected to the medium-sized circles.
That's exactly it. All right. So you as a student in MACA, you're exposed to all of these different things: motion, video, collaborative, design, photography, 3D, illustration, and web. Obviously, these are very broad topics. In specific jobs, you will not work on just one thing ever. Like, you will never use just Photoshop or just Illustrator or just 3D. Typically, you'll work across several different softwares, platforms, whatever, and bring stuff into one package, okay? So that's exactly what it's showing. And the fact that the green here and the blue here and the blue and yellow are close and the greens and yellows and whatever else, all of these are very mixed. So when you originally registered for classes and you originally picked your degree, you probably picked something based on what your interest was, but just so you know, your interest is actually very gray. There's no black or white, this is what I'm here for. So how many in here are in the design specialty? 3. You can raise your hand high, that's fine.
What do you mean by that?
Design fundament, or
Design and layout.
Design and layout, thank you.
Oh, wait.
If you're in design and layout specialty, you're going for that degree, or if you're going for a motion degree, or if you're going for a 3D degree, or if you're going for collaborative. This class is in all of those. Which one?
I actually have the collaborative.
Okay. Yep. And collaborative is good because it does touch more on all of those. Now, regardless of what you go into, there's so many different areas that are inside here. So in this class, we're going to touch on several different areas that relate to 3D, but what you'll also see is that we'll also be touching on Photoshop, we'll also be using Illustrator, we'll also be using After Effects, we'll also be using our main program, which is Cinema 4D. You can get a whole lot out of this class. There's a quote on the bottom of this. If I can remember how to zoom in Acrobat, there we go. That works. It says, you can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever, Steve Jobs. So it's a profound thing because what happens a lot of times is pretty much up to the point where we graduate high school, we've basically been guided along that path by typically our parents. Your parents say which schools you're going to go to. Typically they have a say in what classes you're going to take, and eventually you get to this point in high school where now it's like your choice to make these decisions, and it's a huge thing to do, to make a decision of what you're going to do for the rest of your life. But the point is that eventually you'll get to the spot where you find out what you want to do. Okay, so if you're ever on YouTube, like I am most of my day, and you watch Steve Jobs' speeches, he did this one that was really awesome, where he talks about how he just happened to walk into this class one time, and this guy was talking about different fonts. And he said, had I not walked into that class, the Mac fonts that we currently use never would have been as nice as they are. I never would have appreciated that. So as you're a student, your job is to get exposed to not only the stuff that we teach in this class, but stuff outside this class. If you watch YouTube videos, make sure that they are helping you pursue what you're trying to go after. If you're in design or if you're in collaborative, then you 3 are in 3D then?
I'm in collaborative.
You're in collaborative too, so you're 3D? What are you in?
I'm in illustration.
You're in illustration, okay. So whichever degree you're in, you should make sure you're pursuing different things outside this class, because you never know what's going to be that next step that's going to make you a better artist, a better animator, a better illustrator, a better whatever, okay? All right, classroom policies. So I kind of rewrote these this semester just to kind of simplify things. Hopefully this doesn't confuse people even more. If the college is open, we will have class. Okay? So unless the college is closed, there will be no class. I may be down the hall talking to a student or in the meeting with my associate dean, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. 8 o'clock, we have class. Be here at 8 o'clock and then just start working on stuff. Show up on time, start working, do not leave early. I keep attendance. It's deducted from your final grade for tardies and absences. You'll see that later on. If you arrive greater than 5 minutes past the start time, that equals point removal. So math really early in the morning is perfect for you guys, right? A physical body in class does not equal attendance, okay? So I want you to be working on stuff, doing something in the class. Simply staring at me for 3 hours is not attendance, okay? As much as I love people staring at me. Oh. Not physically or mentally present, find out what you missed. You can make up absences by sitting in another class. One thing I allow people to do is if you are going to be absent, you can make those things up. And it's a great way, too, to get exposure to what other classes are doing. So my schedule is 8 a.m. Mondays and Wednesdays until 11 p.m. Mondays and Wednesdays. Those are only 2 days I'm here, but I'm here the entire day. And if I have openings in another class, you're free to come in there and work if you want to, or if you need to make up an absence, you can do that too. And then if you do, then that absence gets stricken from your record. Absences greater than 4 equals an F grade. Perfect attendance, meaning that you're here every day, means you get 3 points to your final grade, which is pretty awesome. Assignments equals on time with greater than 75% completed. That's not confusing to look at, is it? So when you turn in an assignment, it has to be at least 75% completed for it to be accepted as a turned-in assignment. I had people one time, let's say we're doing an environment, they would turn in a cube and say, there's my environment. That's not anywhere near what I wanted at all. Okay? If you don't turn your assignments in on time, you get 1 point per day removal from that, and then you'll see, again, where we get the points. I do attempt to record every lecture that I do. Sometimes I record stuff out of class. Sometimes I record stuff in class. Always take notes, though. Sometimes the recordings, either here or at home or whatever, don't work. So always bring something to take notes with. Again, we'll get to that later. If you see that there's a question, even today you have a question while I'm going through this, ask. That's the only way that you're going to get yourself out there to get the answers. Be involved in the class. The more you do, the easier it is. That seems simple. All my lectures require you logging into Canvas. Has anyone not used Canvas before? You haven't? Okay. So we'll go over that, how to get into Canvas and where stuff is at. Next class I'll show that. Professionalism. You're here to learn to be a productive member of society. Your behavior in class and communications should reflect that. If you shouldn't do that at work, don't do it here, okay? So that means basically taking your shoes off, kicking them up on the desk, that's something you wouldn't do or shouldn't do at your work. You would not do that here, okay? Go to the next page. There we go. Health and cleanliness. Don't leave a mess. I'll mail any garbage you leave to your house with a letter explaining why we don't do that. That's a new policy, and I will mail it to your house. People are sick animals who don't wash their hands after sneezing, eating, going to the bathroom, any number of other things. It's best to bring some disinfecting wipes and clean the area, mouse, keyboard, and desk. I am providing some. I bought 2 of these, I think, from the Dollar Tree. These will be classroom ones. Once they're gone, I will not be readily supplying these. So feel free to bring these in. $1 for this could save you from being sick for weeks and weeks. Again, all of those things I've seen people do and then come right back to the station. Okay? Disgusting. Also, hand sanitizer, Dollar Tree again. You can get that for $1, right? I'll have, again, a couple of these in class. The wall dispensers, they will not put any soap in those anymore. They realized afterwards that they're flammable, and so they can't do that. Not the dispenser, but the soap inside. And so they're afraid people will just start burning stuff, I guess. So those you can't use. Bring your own stuff. Don't spread germs to class. Don't spread your germs. You come to class, disinfect before, after, and don't touch me. There is a student handbook. Whether you read it or not, you have agreed to abide by it because you're sitting in this class. They don't let you sit in classes unless you've agreed that you will not come to class drunk or high or anything like that. Be respectful to the equipment. If you haven't noticed yet, these chairs are brand new. So your butts are the first ones sitting in these chairs. Feel honored. You can put that in your resume. Be respectful to the classroom equipment, furniture, and students. Classroom is designed to be a learning environment. Keep the racket down and stay off my lawn. Remember professionalism, right? You wouldn't want your boss to walk by and see you talking about the latest Star Wars movie because that's not what you're getting paid for, right? Most students pay for their classes. Most students pay for this class probably about $500 or $600. So you want that time and money to be invested well. So make sure you're spending their time wisely. There is no eating in class. You can drink in class in a container that seals. So my beverage here is a container that seals. Even though if I did drop it, the lid pops off, I don't do that. So this is a sealing one. It pops open and then I can close it. Yes, sir.
I brought some water bottles, but I actually take those outside before class to get refreshed.
That's fine. You can drink them in class. Just obviously be careful of the equipment. Don't spill stuff.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to be careful. That's why I'm trying to stay away from computers when I'm drinking water.
Yeah, well, we have, if you look at the floor, in some spots, there's like huge stains because people would bring in coffee, they'd set it on the floor, it would spill, and then there's like looks like a bloodbath on the floor. There's no eating in class, 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 there is no eating in class. So, you get it?
Yes, I get it. There's no eating in class.
Yes.
So they already have breakfast, so it shouldn't really affect.
Shouldn't, but some people like to bring their entire, like, refrigerator to class. I don't know why.
Some people actually brought a refrigerator.
No. They brought, like, an entire meal to class. Like, here's the sides, and here's the main meal, and here's my dessert. No, get out. You'll also notice that probably the table in the entryway there is gone because they had, again, an ant problem. People would eat food, and they would leave the food there, and then ants would come, and it's disgusting. So if you want to eat way over by the bathrooms, by S Lobby, there is an eating area, like a whole area that's designated for eating and hanging out and doing that kind of stuff.
Oh, that explains it.
Yeah. Doing the work. If the work does not equal yours, then that's plagiarism. So if I do the work, if your friend does the work, if your mom does the work, if you download stuff from the internet, that's the work, it's plagiarism. And plagiarism equals possible failing. A few semesters ago, I had a student, it just happened to be not my student, it was somebody else's student that said, hey, this student turned this in and it's kind of suspicious. Okay, so I looked at it and sure enough, it was the same exact work that my student did a year and a half ago. So that student could have been failed from the class, kicked out of the department, and possibly even kicked out of Macomb because of cheating. You get no benefit from cheating. Your A that you see on this little piece of paper, that it's not even a piece of paper, it's just on screen. This A that you see on screen means nothing if you don't have the information behind it to back it up. You should strive to know the basics of each tool and process. If you are unsure of them, find ways to better understand it. Assignments are not accepted without a completed assignment sheet. We will get into assignment sheets next class. Each class has specific due dates. Keep track of them. I grade stuff in a timely fashion, and I record all points on Canvas. If you haven't used Canvas before, like you haven't, as I grade stuff, I put it online. That way you can go in there and you can see, here's what the grade is. Last semester I tried doing it like walking each person, but I got behind on that. So I'm going to go back to what I used to do. You go online, you'll see the grade, you'll see the comments about what it is. So it's nice because you can always look it up and see what your points are. Your grade is your responsibility. So make sure that whatever grade you want in the class, that you work towards that grade. If you want an A, work towards an A. If you want an E, don't do anything. In order to pass the class, every assignment must be turned in on time or late. Extra credit can only be earned in one way, perfect attendance. In order to receive extra credit, all assignments need to be acceptably turned in. Here is my grading scale. So you may notice that my A is a very narrow margin, 100 to 98. So typically the people that get an A in the class actually have 103 to 98 is the range because they are here every class, they work on their stuff every class, they get it all done 100%, and because they have the perfect attendance, they get the extra 3 points. Okay. You'll also notice that A minus ends at 93. So if you had a 90 in the class, you'll get a B plus. Okay. Come on, go to the next one. There we go. Okay. Perfect timing. Is my instructor a jerk? Absolutely. Your instructor is not your friend. Oh, come on. he in this case, is here to ensure you're maximizing your time and learning skills so the hours you are spending away from your house are well worth the time and effort invested. If they seem like they are being harsh, it is because they want you to be the best. They have been through all the hassle, struggle, trials, and tribulations you are going to be and have experienced. They care about pushing you to be successful in the class. Many have taught longer than you've been a student. Some have even taught longer than you've been alive. So they've seen almost everything. This class is not needed to get a job in the industry. No class at any college is needed to get a job in the industry. However, we streamline all that stuff. With the way the internet is, with the way that learning is now, you could go on YouTube and learn how to do pretty much anything. You could go online and find some sort of resource. But we streamline all that stuff. We get rid of all the crap. So when I say do this, this, and this, I'm saying that because that's the correct method to do it. Because I've seen the wrong ways to do it a billion times. I've done it wrong a billion times. This is the correct way. So now here's the interactive part. Mm-hmm. If someone says, I wasn't here in class, did I miss anything? What do you think the answer is? Yes. You always miss stuff, right? If you're not here, something is happening, right? So don't miss anything ever. What is the best way to reach me outside of my office hours? I didn't go over that yet. Any guesses? Email. Stalking would be number one, but email, yes, I'll accept email. No, not Canvas. When you email me through Canvas, it actually gets sent to Canvas's email. It doesn't go to my actual email. So I have to log into Canvas to see that you email me, and then I can email you back. So just email me directly. I'll show you my contact information directly to that. Can I bring food or beverage into class?
No, we've already talked about that.
You can bring beverages in a sealed container, but no food. Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely no food.
Can I bring in my own mouse or tablet? Okay. In this class, we're not going to get into too much tablet stuff. Some people like to bring their own mouse to class. You can do that. Okay. They plug into the USBs. There's some on the sides of your monitor. There's some in the front. Don't unplug anything, though, because that just screws with the next person. Yes, sir?
What if we have, like, our own laptops that have all the applications on it?
You could use that, too. Yep, and if you need power, just let me know. Like last semester, we had to run this power strip because someone had a laptop that constantly kept dying. So, yeah. Just let me know if you need that. The only thing you'd have to do is you won't be able to get to the servers to turn them in, so you need a way to transfer it to that computer and then submit stuff through the server that way. But that's a few times a semester. Cool. I'm not feeling well. Can I work at home? I don't have a ride to class today. Is it okay to work from home? I was called into work and can't make it into class. Is that okay? What do you guys think?
Yes.
It's okay as long as you get the information you need.
The answer is no.
Oh, no.
No. Because I've seen what happens. Again, going back to my history of teaching, I've seen people that say first day, and when I first started teaching, this happened several times. I can't make it in the class this day. Is it fine to work from home? As long as you're doing the stuff. Pretty soon it's the end of the semester, and they're catching up. I've seen timestamps for the last week of them trying to catch up to all the assignments that they didn't do the entire semester. So if you can be here as best you can. If you're going to work from home at some point, make sure you actually work from home. The cool thing about a school is it's an environment. That's one of the things you're paying for is this environment. You don't get this at home. If I go home right now, nobody is home, and I will literally work from, like, tomorrow I don't work. So I will get up typically around 6:30, go into my office, and I will work until I pick up my daughter at 3 o'clock. Then I come home and work again until, like, 8 o'clock. And it's not, like, boring work. It's, like, this fun stuff. Some people can't do that. Some people go home and mom wants me to do this and dad wants me to do that. My brother's screaming and I can't concentrate and this and this and this and a million other things that you do. When you come to class, all of that's gone. All of that disappears. You come into class, it's you and the computer and the rest of the classroom. We're all in it together. Okay? So if you can come to class, definitely try to come to class. If you're not going to be here for some reason, make sure you're doing the stuff outside of class. It's not a free day if you miss. We still move on. We don't wait for you to catch up. Side note, and I will have a lot of these. My daughter said, why can't schools, she's 12 in junior high, she said, why can't schools just let people come to class whenever they want? I said, because you would just not learn anything. It's the same thing. You just wouldn't learn anything. I finished my work. Can I leave early?
That's a no.
It's a no. Yes. You definitely can, okay? You can leave early. You can never come to class if you wanted to. Should you? No. If you want to get the information, no. I can't hold your hand. I can't force you to sit in these seats. If you leave, I'm not going to run after you and bring you back in here. It's up to you. If you do finish your work, think about what else you can do to improve your work. How many of you are graduating this semester?
Well,
One?
presumably with 1 degree, but I might wait till I get all my degrees because I also have one for general study.
Okay.
I might do
You can still get the 1, just so you know. You can still get the 1 and still keep going.
Okay.
Okay, so I would say when you get the 1, get it so you don't forget about it. And then if you're going to go for another one, then get another one.
Okay.
Are you in the portfolio class too?
I just took it last semester.
You just took it last semester. Okay. So you may have found this too, is that when you get to that portfolio class, you're like, holy cow, all these assignments that I did, I really should have spent a little bit more time tweaking this or modifying that or redoing this or making it unique. Yeah? You can disagree with me. It's fine.
Not really that kind of student.
Oh, you're not? Okay. Good.
I'm kind of like an overachiever in some ways.
Awesome. Okay. So pretend that she didn't say any of that. Pretend that she said, oh, yeah, I totally wish we did. But that's what happens, because I see it all the time, is that in this class we're going to have about 5 or 6 assignments. Those 5 or 6 assignments are entry-level assignments. They could be portfolio-ready assignments, but people don't push them typically that far. Get the time to push them that far, okay? Especially if you have the time, because when you graduate, you have 0 time. I came in to turn in my work, but the college was closed. It's okay to turn in my work late. I couldn't get a ride to the college to turn in my work. Can I turn in late? I had a problem with my assignments, and no one could help me. I turned it in late. Not really a question, but what do you think? Turning in work late?
Yes, but points will be deducted?
Correct. Points will be deducted.
I have to think.
Always plan for the worst, okay? So don't wait until the last minute. I teach an online class too. I teach online Photoshop and online Illustrator. And what I would get, even though I said it a trillion times and it'll still happen, don't wait until the last minute. I would get emails on Sunday night at 11 o'clock. I can't get this tool to work in Illustrator. Well, it's 11 o'clock on Sunday night. It's due in an hour. There's no way that, number one, I'm even going to see that probably at 11 o'clock on Sunday night, let alone be able to assist you enough time to get it done. So don't wait until the last minute. It's always best to get the stuff done ASAP. That way you have time to push it. That way you have time to learn from it and then make it super duper awesome. Cool. The interactive part is done. You guys can shut up now. I am very sarcastic. I try to make this class fun, especially an 8 a.m. class. It's very difficult. That's why I have my soundboard here so we can hear cool stuff every once in a while. Here is my name. I didn't even introduce myself. I am a jerk. See? Sean Sarcona. That's my name. There's my email address right there. If you do need to email me, that is the email address you will use. I have a Skype also. So I think in the 4 years I put this up here, 1 student has used it. If you have a problem, it just so happens I'm online and it's something I need to see your computer, I can actually through Skype see your desktop and say, hey, click this, this, and this, and we can actually talk through Skype. So sometimes that helps people. 1 person out of the 4 years has ever wanted to do that. And it was like an hour and a half. We were talking about just jobs and career paths and everything. Here's my phone number. Don't call my phone. It's in my office. Typically when I come into the school, I drop my laptop here and I start working. And then when I go to get my snack, I go to grab my snack and I come right back. So I'm hardly ever in the office. This class is 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Monday, Wednesday, room 127. You guys all made it, except for 1. Materials. Oh, I skipped that one. Writing utensil, note-taking paper and sketchbook, silly putty. As an artist, you should always have certain things with you. I'm not going to put that there. One of the things I recommend, and for my other classes, I'm requiring that they get this. I meant to put it on this one too, but apparently I forgot it so well. This is called an Everlast Rocket Book. Have you ever heard of this? No. Everlast Rocket Book. So what you can do is, let's say you take some notes in here. Awesome teacher. Would recommend, blah, blah, blah. So you take some wonderful notes on there, and then you don't want to forget these notes. At the very bottom of this is a little key icon. So you mark which one applies. You download the app, you take a picture of this, and it automatically uploads it to wherever that key is designated. So let's say that I have stuff for work, I have stuff for home, I have stuff for my 5 classes. Each one of these 5 icons can direct my notes to a separate folder on my Google Drive, and it'll automatically keep everything nice and organized. It's like amazing. And then you could also collaborate with people too, which is really cool. So in this class, I didn't put it on the first day handout, so I won't require it. But I definitely do recommend getting one of those. And then it has different colored pens too. And then what's neat about it is after 15 seconds of writing something, it's like locked onto the page. It won't smear, smudge, or anything. But then if you take a wet wipey, you can wipe the whole page and reuse it again. It's really awesome. It is like mind-blowing. Sweet. So note-taking paper, something to write with. Also a sketchbook. So where's my sketchbook? I have several sketchbooks. So this is my sketchbook / traditional note-taking book. And I just have random stuff in here like all over. Oops. So have some sort of sketchbook. These are $4 at Meijer. This is like hardcover. The paper is actually pretty decent. So get something like that. If you're super cheap, you can just take one of these. These are just like...
Does it matter what kind of sketchbook?
Nope. The smaller the better. Not the smaller the better. About this size is a good size, so you can bring it with you, right? I had a student who could only draw big, and he would bring around this huge sketchbook, whatever reason. Part of this class will be sketching 15 minutes a day. So that's where I'm going to be seeing those sketches, okay? So make sure you have some sort of way to sketch stuff out. If you saw the stuff in the showcase by Ford Ashton, yeah, that's his name. No.
Ashton Ford.
Ashton Ford, thank you. Always, every time. This sounds like it should be the other way, doesn't it? It does, okay. It's not just me. Ashton Ford. If you saw the stuff in the showcase, last semester, that's what he did every day in October. He sketched one of those every single day. That was way beyond our 15 minutes. He spent probably about 3 hours each day doing one of those things. I don't expect you to be artists when you do your sketchbook. I expect you to figure out wherever your level is and just work at that level and just try to creep up, okay? So even I, as the head of the MACA area, I could never touch Ford's stuff. My stuff is on the computer. I could model the stuff in there, but I couldn't sketch as good as he does because I just don't do it. So wherever your level is, that's what you're sketching. So if your level is straight lines and circles and whatever else, that's what you'll do. And I'll talk more about that in a little bit. I recommend also having something to keep your brain occupied or keep your brain awake while I'm lecturing. So silly putty, one of those fidget cubes, I had something else on there. Chewing gum is also a good thing to do. If you have stinky breath or you have trouble staying awake, I have mints too, so you can take one of those. Mints are known to awaken your senses and keep you kind of more alert. So especially 8 a.m., feel free to get one of those. I do not play the drums, but I bring a drumstick like in my car, and this is what I just play with because I just need something to distract me from all the idiots on the road. External hard drive, 100 gigs or more. Should be good enough for this class. Typically, you can probably get by with a smaller drive and just transfer stuff a lot. Whatever you work on these computers, make sure you can back it up. If you had a 16 gig chip, that would be plenty enough for one assignment, for our biggest assignment at least, to be able to transfer it back and forth. So if that's all you have, that'll work. But you'll probably end up at the end of class having about 100 gigs of files, okay?
So we need a hard drive.
You don't need a hard drive. Just a thumb drive is sufficient. I would say just make sure you have something to transfer your files from here to your house. And 16 gig would be the biggest you would have for one. Yes, sir?
May I do so?
Yeah, go ahead. Pair of headphones. All of my lectures are recorded. They do have audio. So in order to actually hear what I'm saying, headphones help. So make sure you have headphones. 4 to 6 hours or more outside work per week. Don't think that just because you're taking a class that meets for 6 hours that that's all you need for the class. You typically want to set aside about 4 to 6 hours outside of class additional to work on stuff. It may be, for me, the way that I learn is by absorbing as much information as I can about a specific subject. So one of my classes I took years ago was this database class. And it was, I don't know why I took it, but it was, the first 2 weeks of the class was okay. And then the third week, it's just I hit something and I just couldn't figure it out. And I spent probably 6 hours just trying to figure out this one concept. Once I figured that out, then everything else opened up. But had I not had the 4 to 6 hours outside of class to do that, I wouldn't have done as well as I did in the class. Okay?
So that's like homework out.
That's just making sure that you're understanding the stuff.
Oh.
Right? So if I go over a tool, this is how we're not going to model a head in this class. Let's say you're going to model a head, and you're like, it's not working for me, I need to watch some videos, and you go on YouTube and you watch other people model heads. Oh, I get it now. Then you do it. So it's more time for you to be able to absorb the information and play with the
That's just
tools.
like practice.
Practice or completing the assignments, however long it takes. Okay? It's not required. If you set it aside now, then it's already a perfect little chunk. I recommend any Cinema 4D or generic 3D book. If you're in the 3D program, find a good 3D book that's just general topics, something you can just kind of page through. Digital is great. I have a bunch of digital books too. Yep, that one's cool too. Lots of elements of graphic design. Yeah, that'll work for same kind of thing.
Okay, I got it at the school store.
Mm-hmm. Not for this class though, right?
Oh, what? Oh, I thought it was.
No.
Oh.
No, it shouldn't be for this class.
Okay.
But any generic 3D book is good because it'll cover a lot of topics. And what you'll find about 3D is that it's pretty universal from one program to another to another. It's just a matter of how they do it in each software. I also recommend a Pluralsight account. Has anyone used Pluralsight before? No? All right. Let me jump to here. Pluralsight. And I won't remember my password unless I've already saved it. Aha, I did. All right, so what Pluralsight is basically like everything you learn in MACA and more, okay? In each of these classes, we're going to be able to cover about this much stuff of what the actual topic is, enough to give you an understanding of how things work. And then from there, you could go crazy with things, okay? So let's say Photoshop, okay? There's 2 Photoshop classes that we teach. One of them is Introduction and one of them is Advanced. Here's all the different things you can do in Photoshop that this place has. 677 courses that they teach in Photoshop. Every month they release like 150 hours of new material or 150 classes or something ridiculous. It's like a lot of stuff that you could learn in Photoshop. It's just some of it is short, 21 minutes. Some of it is long. That one's 2 hours, not too bad. This one's 3 hours. Some of their videos like 6 hours long. It's not one video, it's like broken, there it is. 6 hours and 47 minutes, just broken into chunks. Especially if you've forgotten, hey, I don't remember how to use Photoshop or Illustrator or whatever, it's great to have. YouTube is great. I'm on YouTube a lot, but these are, again, something where it's like, this is already set, not all of them. This is a good setup and they go through those things. If you want a Pluralsight account, you can go to the bookstore and buy one. It's $100 and you get the entire year of Pluralsight, which is pretty awesome. If you bought it straight through the website, it's about $400 and some for the year. If you go to the bookstore, it's $100, so it's a pretty sweet deal. And if you're graduating, you may want to grab that before you graduate, so that way you still have the student discount. People who are in industry, this is where they get all their stuff from, because it's difficult to stay on top of all the new stuff in Photoshop and Illustrator and After Effects and Cinema, sir.
Is getting Pluralsight mandatory?
Nope, it's not required for this class. It's just a good thing to have.
It's just a good reference.
Just a good reference, yep. Especially because going back to those dots, right? So one of the jobs inside of 3D is like character modeler. In this class, we're not going to touch on character modeling stuff. We'll touch on some concepts, but not actual character modeling. But you may say, hey, I really want to get more into character modeling. You can take what we've learned and say, here's 5 different courses where it goes into really in-depth character modeling. And then what do I do with that? Well, now I want to animate it. Well, now here's character animation videos. And now I want to put them into a movie. And here's movie videos. So they go into like as deep as you want to go into it, they do. Okay?
Depending on what you type in.
Yep.
Search.
Yep. It's like even at my level, you know, I've been teaching for 15 years. I've been doing 3D for about 23 years. Well, animation, 3D, visual, whatever, for that long. It's it's in depth. There's like so much stuff out there right now. You can't keep track, so it's good to have resources like that will just feed you that stuff. Again, you could use YouTube, but there's like 1,000 crap videos and then one awesome one, and then 1,000 crap ones and then one awesome one. Sweet. Software. We'll be using Adobe CC, Cinema 4D, and a software called Keyshot. You do not need any of these software at home as long as you can get to lab to do stuff, okay? So most people cannot finish every single thing in class. So make sure you can get to lab or make sure you have the stuff at home. If you're not familiar with it, Adobe CC, you can get $20 a month. You can get every software package they make. And they have some pretty awesome stuff they've come out with just in the latest version. We are on release 2018 of Adobe. So make sure you're up to date. They don't go back. They can go forward. We'll be using Cinema 4D. If you go to this website, you can register and get a free 18-month license of Cinema 4D. Don't wait until you want that assignment, like it's Wednesday night or Sunday night and you're trying to turn in an assignment for Monday. Don't wait until then. Download it now, get it registered, get it set up on the computer. That way you know that you can use it if you need to. Especially just playing with the tools, you'll find is going to be a huge benefit to just understanding how 3D works versus 2D versus traditional stuff.
But this stuff will already be in class, right?
Yep, all of these software are here.
Okay.
Yep. And then Keyshot is another software. There's no student license of that available, but we'll only be using it for a small chunk of what we're going to be doing. Oops. This is the beginning 3D animation using Cinema 4D. 3D using 4D. The class will go through steps of modeling, texturing, animating, shading, and rendering surfaces. Objectives. Understand and customize the interface. Oh my gosh. Click the wrong button. There we go. Customizing the interface. So 3D, obviously, we're dealing with depth, so we have a completely different way of moving around stuff. Just that alone will make people want to bash their head into a wall, okay? We'll get through that really quickly. Typically within 8 weeks, you will be comfortable enough with the software that you're like, okay, I see how things are working now, and then you'll just adapt to it. I had someone last semester, you guys have taken photo before, intro to photo?
Photoshop? Yeah.
No, not Photoshop, just photography.
Oh, that was actually my first Macker class.
That was your first one? Yeah. So someone after, I don't know how their schedule worked out, but after they went through the entire 3D program, they took intro to photo, and they said intro to photo was actually harder than 3D. So that's mind-boggling, but whatever. Everyone has stuff they love. Model with polygons. Again, you'll figure out what those are when we get to it. Layout texture coordinates, texture polygons, render using photorealistic techniques, compile frame stacks in QuickTime, create advanced textures, blah, blah, blah. You'll get into what that is. All right, so you may not have ever done this before in your classes. I do a point system only. Has anyone never used a point-only system? Okay, so basically I do not assign percentages. I do not average out any of my grades. Everything is strictly points. So you know how you do an assignment? Let's say there's 10 assignments in a class, and each one is worth the same amount. So the teacher will take, let's say you got 100 on every assignment. They'll take all those hundreds, divide it by 10, and then that's your grade, right? I don't do that. I say each one's worth 10 points. That's your points for each one. So we have a hotkey test that's worth 5 points. Definitions test that's worth 5 points. If you don't do either of these, you miss it, and some people missed it last semester. They meant to set it up for a retake, but they never did, so they ended up missing those points. You just don't get the points. So if you had 100 in the class, now you're down to a 95, okay? This will throw people off because what happens is, right now if you were to log into Canvas and the class was loaded, it would say 0 points because you haven't gotten any assignments yet, so you have 0 points. And as you do the hotkey test, then you get 5 points. Then you do definitions, then you get 5 points. Then you do mini room, then you get 6 points. Obviously, as long as you still have all the requirements there. So our main assignments: mini room, stylized environment, titles, product, and drone are our big 5 projects. We'll have some little things along the way that we'll do. A lot of what we're gonna do, like you'll see how it builds on each one. Okay, so don't think that just because I didn't have time for the stylized environment, so I'm just going to skip it and I'll go to the next assignment. Nope. You need to do the stylized to understand the titles, to understand the product, to understand the drone. If one of these isn't strong, the rest of them will fall also. You'll also see inside here, daily, weekly drawings are 10 points. So starting not a week from today because of Martin Luther King Day, we are not here that Monday. Starting Wednesday, I will be checking your drawings, okay? So on Wednesday when you come in, what you should have is you should have your sketchbook. And let me find a page that's not embarrassing for you to look at. That one's not too embarrassing. All right. You'll have a page like this. There's also my notes I keep other places. There we go. And you'll have 15 minutes of drawing here. You'll have a little date on the page. And then the next page. No, it's not too bad. All right. The next page, you'll have another 15 minutes of drawing, and then you'll have a date. And then you'll go to the next page, another 15 minutes. If you have a bigger sketchbook, or if you draw tiny, you may have like half a page, 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there. This, I have a pen. This is not 15 minutes of drawing. Right? That's obviously not 15 minutes. It took me like not even a second probably. Okay? Spend 15 minutes drawing something. Don't spend 14 minutes researching what you're going to draw and 1 minute drawing it. That is a waste of your time. So spend 15 actual minutes, set a timer if you need to, drawing something. So starting tomorrow, you'll have your sketchbook. You'll draw for 15 minutes, whatever topic you want. Some people go online and they just find prompts, just random stuff to draw. That way they're not starting from a blank sheet. That way they're starting from whatever. So it'll say cat, so they'll spend 15 minutes drawing cats. And then the next day is dog, they'll spend 15 minutes drawing dogs. I don't care what they look like. I'm not critiquing your drawings. It's simply...
So the 15 minutes of drawings will be based off those particular things, sir.
Just for that day.
Just for that day.
Yes. Hold on, let me explain it again in a second. Are you Brianna?
No, I'm Rebecca.
Or Rebecca? You're Brianna. Okay. All right. I'll get you a handout in a minute. So Tuesday you draw whatever you want. Wednesday you draw whatever you want. Thursday and Friday you draw whatever you want. On Saturday, that's where you'll draw something winter related. Just that day. You can draw it if you want to. It's up to you. You can draw Tuesday, draw winter. Wednesday, draw winter. Thursday, draw winter. I really don't care what you're drawing. I just want to see that you're drawing 15 minutes a day. Okay? Week 2, same thing. You're drawing whatever. On that Saturday, you will draw something related to heat. I don't care. You take that word and you make it mean whatever you want it to mean. So if I wrote winter, you could do Game of Thrones because there's something winter related in Game of Thrones. Okay? You could draw what it looks like outside. You could draw an igloo. You could draw whatever. For heat, you could draw a basketball team. You could draw whatever. I don't care. Okay? So whatever you want to draw for 15 minutes a day, you can. You can also ignore the prompts too if you have other stuff that you want to draw. Some people will find prompts online like for Inktober, Ashton. It is Ashton, right? That's his first name. I'm never going to remember that. He drew those prompts every single day, so he ignored my prompts because he was drawing other stuff. Okay? They're simply there just to kind of give you a direction to go with. All right? And we'll do this for 10 weeks. So 10 points for all your sketches, 10 weeks of drawings. How many points is each week? 10 points, 10 weeks.
100.
No. 1.
Oh, 1.
1 point. So if you decide that you don't want to do drawing, then you don't get any points. Okay? And if you go back to where we had that assignment or the grading scale, remember that 90 is a B+. So if you don't do any drawings, which again are super easy things to do, the highest you can get in the class is a B+. Okay? We'll have a final exam. Oh, does everyone understand that? Yes, sir.
When do the drawings start?
Typically, I check them on Monday. Okay, so you're going to start drawing tomorrow. Okay, so grab a sketchbook, or if you want to grab one of these up here. Oh.
Okay.
One of these up here, you can do that.
Okay, I'll spend today trying to find a good sketchbook.
Yeah, well, don't spend the whole day.
I don't worry. I see them at the school store.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, cool. We'll have a final exam project. One day you come in, here's what you do, boom, and then there's the assignment. We have a final video. in this class, there are hard points and there are easy points. So the daily, weekly drawing, what do you think? Hard or easy? Easy. Okay. Final video, easy points. You're literally taking all your assignments and putting them into one video. So it literally takes people 15 minutes to do. Shouldn't be an issue why you don't have it in. Okay. The final exam is a harder one. The drone and those are harder ones. The mini room is an easy one too, but obviously you wouldn't know that yet. Hotkey test and definition test, I would say those are easy too, as long as you study for them. They're not next week. They're like a month and a half from now. So as long as you study for them and you use the hotkeys and you look at the definitions, you should have no reason to not get full points on those. Now comes the trickiest part of this entire thing, going beyond. I've not dumbed down, but I've right-sized each assignment so that they allow a little bit of extra room on the assignments for you to play with the tools. Because learning isn't about I click and you click. That's not learning. Learning is about you actually going into the software and actually playing with the tools and trying to explore them more. You will not get anywhere in this industry if you don't understand that, okay? If you don't understand in Photoshop, Illustrator, After Effects, any of the software we use, Illustration, that you have to play with the stuff, you're going to waste your time, okay? So for the drone, for instance, I have us model a drone. It has a top part, it has a logo on it, it has propellers, and it has guards. Some people will say, okay, well, I want to add a camera. They add a camera. I want to add a moving background. I want to render out 13 more stills. I want to get it from this angle. I want to do 2 drones. I want to do this or that. Everyone's definition of going beyond is not going to be the same. But the point is that you've done the assignment and then you've done more on top of that, okay? It's not a different assignment. It's you've gone beyond it. Cool? As we get more into the assignments, I'll give some examples of what people have done in the past, just so you're not confused by any of that, okay? And if you're not sure at any point, let me know. If you don't go beyond, you don't get those points. So that means that your highest grade in the class would be a 90, as long as everything else is 100%, which means your highest grade in the class would be a B+. What does C mean on your grade?
Average.
Average. So in order for there to be an average, there has to be A's, B's, C's, D's, and E's, right? So if everyone's an A in the class, which is, in my philosophy, a lot of high schools like to grade everyone with an A because everyone was here. Some students come to college thinking, I was present the entire time, I was friendly to you, why didn't I get an A in the class? It's the work, okay? So you have to go beyond to stand out, to put yourself in that position to get that A. Okay, point deductions. So if you are texting during class, typically I don't have to take points out for these, but excessive texting, okay? If I walk by, every time I walk by, you're texting someone or you're hiding your phone because you were just texting someone or whatever the case is, that's point deductions, okay? You shouldn't be texting during class. If you're here, like I said, paying $500 or $600 to be here, dedicate that time to actually doing work. Texting during a lecture, that's a big no-no. I had someone do that, like, he was in 2 classes back-to-back, texting the entire time I lectured. And then right after the lecture was over, what are we doing? What do you think we're doing? Not texting. If you're absent, half a point removal from your grade per absence, and tardies, 0.25 points removal. And then just not taking notes. Just take notes. Don't talk or work during the lecture. You guys have picked prime spots where you're all facing me. This is nice that we only have 7 in this class because everyone can face directly ahead of me. Yes, ma'am.
So is it still the same where it's like you have 4 absences before it affects your grade?
No.
Or does it?
That automatically affects your grade. The after 4, it's an automatic fail unless there was something discussed.
Okay.
I had a student before who, halfway through the semester, they got a job during my class. So I'm not going to say, well, quit your job. I'm going to say, okay, as long as you're keeping up, you're fine. And that worked out perfectly. It doesn't work for everyone, but in that case it did. Keys to success. Show up to each class on time and ready to work. Pay attention, take notes, ensure you understand what's required, work during class, do homework, meet deadlines, ask questions, and push your skills. Keys to failure. Pretty much the opposite. Miss classes or constantly being late. Socializing during class, making up excuses why your work isn't done, guessing what's required, not taking notes, turning your work in as you feel like it. Questions on that? Perfect. All right. I think this is a good time for me to refresh my drink, and you probably have seen this before, so we'll just kind of quickly go through it. Starting off at the front. Welcome to the winter semester of MACA. Your journey over the next 18 weeks will give you an amazing ability to transform your skills and set a marker in the timeline of your life. Whether you have thought about it or not, you being in this class and school has happened due to a series of actions and decisions made by you, your parents, the city, state, the administrators, the teachers, and a whole mess of others who you will never see or be able to even fathom. At one point in time, education was something only the elite would have access to. You could learn more today reading the New York Times than you could in a formal education in the 17th century. Education today is now everywhere. Every minute of every day is a possibility to learn something new, to take your mind and body to a different level and move yourself closer to living up to your potential. You get nowhere by ignoring education or putting it aside as the last thing on your to-do list. It's not enough to go through the motions of driving yourself to school to stare blankly at the teacher and do minimal work to pass the class. There are no job guarantees anywhere. So why bother, you ask? Because if you work hard and you push yourself and you strive to continuously learn, the chances go up greatly. You're more likely to get a job or career that will bring you a different sense of joy and allow you to live a life you never dreamed of if you pursue it. Keep a positive attitude. No, you move forward the more you work. That could have been phrased better, probably. You cannot see where you will end up or how you will get there. All you can do is prepare for what you want. History is littered with people who went after one thing and found their purpose in something else. It is also littered with people who did nothing impactful with their life. You have the opportunity to add incredible value to the world around you. Don't let the opportunity pass you by. How many people in here have jobs they would be happy doing for the rest of their life? Perfect. Then you're in the right spot. So every semester I meet new people. I see where people are working. Some people work at Taco Bell. One of the guys I showed, he works at Costco right now. They don't want to do that for the rest of their life. They want something more. They want to have a purpose, something that they get to do that's fun, that contributes somehow. That's where education comes in. And that's not just saying MACA comes in. It's just education in general. Every day that you're in a school, every day you're learning something new is your chance to make yourself better, to get yourself to that next level, and to improve your life. Playing video games is great. It sure is a lot of fun, but it doesn't get you anywhere. Going to parties, same thing. They're great, but they don't get you anywhere. Now, I'll show some stuff where that may get you somewhere, but for now, just ignore or just believe me. Two things to do, or one thing to do. Go to contact.sarcona.net if you have never done that. That is where you can sign up for the MACA email list. You could also email me and say, put me on the list, and I'll put you on the MACA email list. If we get any job openings, program updates, anything else that may be of important news, that is how I contact students. They don't allow us to have a mass email go out to every student in MACA without spending about 2 weeks worth of paperwork to do that. So if you want something quick, a few years ago, Pixar came to Eastern Michigan. We knew about it the day before. We were able to send out an email to everyone on the distribution list, and probably about a dozen people went to it. And it was pretty awesome because they had the actual concept illustrators from Zootopia talking about how they did the concept animation or illustrations for Zootopia. And it was this awesome, amazing thing. You wouldn't have gotten that anywhere else. So get on there. Also, if you are cool with us showing off your material in the showcases, then you can sign it or check a box that says I'm cool with it. Vimeo.com/groups/MCCMACA. So you have to expose yourself to everything that is out there in your area. Do not let it be a surprise. Do not wait until the last minute. MCCMAC. So there is a group. Why didn't that group come up? Probably need a space. Groups. There it is. There's a group on Vimeo, which is like YouTube. At one point, they were really awesome, and they had like HD before YouTube had HD, and now they just kind of have, not a whole lot, but still people post some stuff there. But it's basically, this group on here is past MACA students. So if you go to the members, as far as I know, all these people are either past or current MACA students. Patty was a student last year. Ryan, I think, graduated. Nikki was here last year. Patrick's our lab aide, if you've seen Patrick. And they post videos like, here's my work, here's what I'm doing, here's stuff that's happening. And it's cool because you get to see what people are doing and you get to see what stuff is out there. You get to see most of these people that are working locally. So you get to see what they're doing. You can connect to them. You can say, hey, I love this piece. How did you do this or that? Or, I'm looking to get into the industry. What tips do you have for me? It's a good way to get exposure to it. Where is... Oh, wait. That's Steven's. Billy Chitkin, he's the other intro 3D teacher. So if you're ever here Tuesday, Thursday nights around 5 o'clock, he'll be in this room teaching Cinema 4D. He actually started off doing Maya, and then he did some After Effects stuff, and then he got into using Cinema 4D on his own, and now he's like a really awesome Cinema 4D guy. But you can see like all this really cool stuff that people do, and obviously follow them. So I would recommend get a Vimeo account, jump on there and connect yourself. There's also an MCC MACA group on Facebook. I would connect yourself to that too if you're on Facebook. Again, if people post jobs, they post tutorials, they post random stuff that applies to our area. Get on it. Behance, MotionSpire, ArtStation. Get a portfolio, get a website, get something up online. You can't go out to jobs and expect them to find you. You can't expect to turn in a piece of paper saying, give me a job because I have a degree. They don't care. They don't want your degree. They want to see you can do work. They want to see you can bring value to the company. So you have to go out there and you have to make yourself out on these things. These are examples of them. If you're not aware of this, if you have an Adobe account, you get a free website through their portfolio thing. It's just like a drag and drop one, just simple like cookie cutter website, just so you can throw it up there. It's literally like you probably do it in an evening. Get your stuff out there. And then LinkedIn. Is anyone on here on LinkedIn? One person, two. If you are not on LinkedIn, you need to be on LinkedIn. This is where people will find you. So where was the thing that I just got? Notifications? Yeah. So I appeared in 2 searches this week from GM and Bosch. I don't know what they were searching for, but I found that, or they found me or somehow. Also, there it is. Here's 10 jobs that I may be interested in. So what this will do is based on what your qualifications are, based on the people you're connected to, and based on a whole bunch of other stuff, people will actually find you on LinkedIn and will offer you jobs if you meet their requirements. So let's say, for instance, I'll go to my home. There we go. So I can see 15 people viewed my profile. I didn't post anything because I never post anything on here. I have 555 followers. That's crazy. That's too many followers. I gotta start deleting people, I think. Here's all the stuff that I've done. Here's my education. Here's all of my skills. Here's people endorsing you. What's neat about this is that it's basically like you have your resume. That's a simple piece of paper that you hand in to people and then they look at it and throw it on their desk. This is a living, breathing thing, so that as you get new hobbies or new skills, new softwares, new whatever, you post them on here, and then all the people in your group, it sends out a thing. Hey, Sean now knows Cinema 4D. Sean now knows After Effects. Now I know this. Now I know that. And they let people know about it. And what's really cool is that people can recommend you. So if you have people that have good rapport with you, they can write a recommendation. And that's, again, something that everyone can see. If you have any certifications, if you have any interests, if you have any groups, you can be part of that. And what companies will use this for is that they will look for, let's say, in this case, Cinema 4D Detroit. And up at the top, I can look for people who know Cinema 4D in Detroit. I can look for jobs using Cinema 4D in Detroit. I can look for content or companies or groups or schools that use Cinema 4D in Detroit. So if I'm looking for jobs, here's Activate, Experiential Designer at Activate Inc. See more. High proficiency with modeling in 3ds Max, Maya, Cinema 4D. Like I said, the softwares are pretty interchangeable. Expert level proficiency with Adobe Creative Suite, strong knowledge, strong typography, experience designing, high energy levels, and so on and so on and so on. So now I can see a job that I can then use my skills for. I can see who's posted it. I can contact that person directly and say, hey, I saw the job posting. I think I'm a good fit for this. Here's my work. Here's my blah, blah, blah. Here's whatever. And then that puts a little bug in their ear that you are someone who is on their radar. Now, obviously, you have to have stuff that shows that you're good in that area, so don't just apply to any job. But you want to make sure that you go out there and do that. One of my students a couple years ago, let me see if I can find this. So, systems. So, jobs to SO systems. Okay, so this is a company that is in Royal Oak. And one of the jobs for 3D is data preparation specialist. And what they do basically is they get cars from GM, they bring the cars into their software, and they clean them up and make sure they're all ready to be actually like rendered out and animated and whatever. So that's a job. For years, I was telling people they have this job called a render wrangler. The job of a render wrangler is basically to watch the computers, see if there's any issues with the computers while they're rendering, and if there are issues, they tell the artist, there's a problem with your rendering. That's all it is. That job was paying about 35 grand a year. For years, nobody was applying to it. One student took what I said and said, yeah, I think I'm going to apply for that. He found who the job was, who posted the job. He found other people connected at the company, and he actually got worked into the company. He went from working side job, living in a not wonderful area, to making 35 grand a year. He bought a house, or he could buy a house. For whatever reason, he's still living in his place. He bought a car. He has money in his savings. Your life turns around when you get that job that goes from crap part-time job or side job to actually making an income, to actually making a living. And it happens by doing this kind of stuff. Nobody is going to find you hiding in your closet. Okay? So you have to go out there and you actually have to make people see your work. Okay? And when I show people, one of the guys last semester, he said, hey, I'm applying for a job at Taco Bell. Can I get a... They may want me to come in, or they may want me to interview on class next week, during class. I said, why are you looking for a job at Taco Bell? You're almost graduated. Start looking for a job in your area. And there's places all over. One of them is Cutters, which is another place. Studios. Cutter Studios. There it is. Which is, there's probably at least a dozen MACA students there right now. Another one is Macavision. There's probably a dozen MACA students there. Quicken has a good handful of our students. But they had a job posted on their site. I said, go apply for this job. This is the kind of stuff that if that's what you want to do, you have to go out there and look for it. Don't wait until you're graduated to start looking for that job. Look now. Find the job that you want. Talk to the company. See if you can at least walk the place, get an interview, get something. All right, so that's that. Improving your work skills. So these are things that will improve your work skills. These are things that right now today you could obviously start doing. They take no special skills. It's just part of being professional. Being punctual, being prepared, being accountable, working hard, being committed, having a great attitude. Dang it. I gotta stop hitting the wrong buttons. Oh, keep going. There we go. Having a great attitude, paying attention, and being helpful. All of these things go into being professional. Also, it helps networking. Also, it helps just get you ready for the workplace. Okay? Just doing these things will 10 times improve your attitude as a student. Improving your learning skills. So your learning style is something that people kind of overlook. They basically assume that teachers know everything about you, and we don't. We don't know pretty much right now anything about any of you. You have to figure out how you learn best. There's always tricks and there's always hacks to figuring out the best way that you learn. For some people, it's watching something over and over and over again. Sometimes it's hearing it over and over and over again. Sometimes it's doing it. Sometimes it's teaching somebody else how to do it. Sometimes it's just verbalizing it. So there's a million different ways you could learn something. Figure out how you learn best and use that method to learn whatever it is you need to learn. Okay? People have asked me in the past, do you have a written instruction of what I'm supposed to do? No. For the stuff that we're doing, there's no way for me to write down every single step. It would take me an entire semester to write down one assignment because they're so in-depth of clicking and clicking and clicking of where you're going to do stuff. So figure out how best you learn and optimize that. Getting enough sleep is always an important thing. This is enough is a not really locked in word. Enough sleep for one person is obviously not enough for other people. So find a good amount of sleep. I find that if I have something to do and I'm excited about doing it, I actually need less sleep than if I am just kind of bored and not anything to do. I want to sleep all day long. Eating a healthy diet, again, you'll find that if you come to class and you've eaten a whole bunch of food, you're pretty much going to be like tired, right? So don't eat like a whole bunch of food. Find healthy foods you can eat, stuff that will be long-lasting energy. Exercising. If you exercise 30 minutes before class, you will find that not only are you stinky, but also that you are more focused on what we're doing. Yes, sir.
That's why sometimes before class, since I arrive pretty early, I just drop my stuff down and just kind of walk around the building while I'm waiting.
Right. It doesn't have to be super intense. Simply just power walking or just walking is great exercise.
Plus, considering how early it is nowadays for me.
Right. It gets your heart rate up. It gets more blood to the brain, more oxygen. You're good to go. Meditating. You can go on YouTube and find 7 trillion videos about how good meditation is for people, and they just don't do it for whatever reason. Practicing an instrument or a foreign language. If you, obviously you don't have time, obviously, for every single thing that's on this list. You may not have time to get enough sleep and eat a healthy diet and exercise and meditate and not go crazy and practice an instrument and a foreign language on top of that. There's always ways you can fit things in, though. So balance it out. Figure out, the way I look at it, how many things am I doing that are improving my life? How many things are holding me back, right? So I have a PS4 in my office right next to where I work. I haven't touched it in about 8 months because I can't. Because if I'm on the PS4, that's taking me away from everything else that I want to do. Now, if I have a stack of games this tall that I've collected, I buy super used games and old games, so not a lot of money, but still, I just don't play them because it takes me away from what I want to do, from stupid fun stuff, from watching videos at 4 o'clock this morning about how to break stuff in Houdini. But stuff like practicing an instrument, I do that because that is helpful. It's beneficial. I've also practiced a foreign language. In your car, you can get audio tapes or CDs or download them from YouTube or whatever it is, and you can listen to them. My drive here is about 40 minutes. Today was an hour. You can listen to an entire thing and learn a language on your way to and from school. And some of these companies are worldwide companies. One of the guys who, he's a former MACA student, he works at Cutters, and he's also on our advisory board. He's doing freelance work with Costa Rica. So he has to know Spanish to talk to the people from Costa Rica. So he couldn't do that if he didn't know the language. It would be a huge barrier. So find opportunities to do that kind of stuff. Drawing or doodling, again, we'll be doing that one at least. Keeping an open mind. So don't think that you know everything. Don't think that the teachers know everything. Just be aware that there's a lot of stuff in the world that you just don't know. And if you just go out there and you just kind of experience it and see what happens and keep an open mind about it, you'll find you'll go a lot further than assuming that everything is horrible. Like meditating, that's stupid. I'm not going to meditate. This guy's nuts. And exercising, yeah, right. I'm not going to exercise, or this guy's crazy. Just give me the assignments. I want to get out of here. It's already whatever time it is, 9:30.
Actually, it's
9:47. Attendance policy. There's the attendance policy. You can look at that. The equipment loan. For this class, there's not any equipment that we're typically loaning out, but just be gentle with what we have in the classroom. Usage of hardware and classroom stuff. More information there. And again, no eating is allowed in the classroom or lab. Beverages with steel tops are good. Cool. If you turn in an assignment late, you have to turn in this late assignment submission form with it. Okay, so assignment is due, let's say, on Wednesday. You turn it in on Monday. You will turn in this form saying, here's the assignment, here's why it's late, here's why I will never do that again. Okay? Here's the assignment resubmission form. If you turn in an assignment on time and then you fix some stuff up that you got wrong, you can resubmit it and get more points. So you would fill this out and turn that in as well. Again, easy stuff, nothing crazy. All right. Cool. All right, let me see if there's anything else I want to cover today. Next class, we'll really get into the actual software. We'll start using some things. I'll get you the definition sheets, the actual first day handouts. Assignment submission form. When you turn in an assignment, you will have this that will go along with it. So when you're ready for assignment number 1, our mini room, and you're saying, okay, I'm done with mini room, I'm ready to turn it in, you will have this sheet that you have already filled out for the mini room, and you will make sure all the correct things that I want turned in are turned in. So if I say that I want your project folder with everything, you've checked project folder, you've checked everything. I want a movie, you've checked that, you know the resolution, you know all the settings for it, and then you'll submit this also. That way I know your assignment's ready to be graded. Okay? We'll go over that again, just I want you to see that.
That's for all the assignments?
Every assignment.
Except for the drawings.
Correct. Cool. All right. I think we're good for today. Next class, I'll show some more stuff. I do want to show, sorry, one more thing.
Okay.
I do want to show, obviously I should show a demo reel from this class, right? Because that would make sense to actually see what this class is going to be doing.
Yeah. Let's see what we can learn from this.
I want to find one from last semester if I can. I'm going through, I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but if you ever lose a hard drive, recovering those files is like crazy expensive. So years ago, I lost a hard drive, and I will never do that again because it was basically $1,000 to recover everything off that hard drive. And so my kids, they're 12 and 10 now. I had 4 years of pictures of them. Those 4 years of pictures were gone. So $1,000 is well worth it to get those pictures back. So now I have like a backup system. I got this whole thing, and I've been going through. I have 4 terabytes of stuff that I'm trying to organize. Where is my demo reel stuff? Backup. Demo. There it is. 2510. Cool. I don't know why it wasn't in another folder. That's well. Kaluski, Metzler, Brown. Alright, I'll show Meg's. We'll be doing other stuff too, but this is just one of the students.
That's the room?
Yep, that's the mini room. So this is just to get our feet wet, just to understand what 3D is. We'll spend literally 3 classes on just this assignment. We'll build the chair, we'll build the desk, I'll show you how to build some other stuff, and then you'll just kind of populate a room, add some colors, some lights, animation, and render it out. 3 classes, that's all we do on this one.
Oh, that's
Yeah, it's pretty quick, but it gets your feet wet. Then we're going to be doing an environment. I'll show you the environment in a minute. We didn't do the environment this time. We did do a text thing. And this is Meg going beyond. That was the first, that's the assignment is this. That's the assignment for that specific class. We'll be changing it this semester some. So then she went beyond and then added that and that and that. And then we will do a product. So in this case, that semester we did a serial scene. So they modeled the box, and then your InDesign skills or your layout skills, that's how she designed that box. That label and stuff didn't exist before. That's her serial. Yeah, there's her drone.
And
There's the drone moving.
oh, it looks like an actual hospital.
Yep. Well, that is. This is a background plate picture. And then that semester we did do character heads.
Oh, that's
Yeah. So that one, and then
Where is it?
there it is. And then we even 3D printed Meg's head. It's awesome. All right. So that was that one. Let me find Evans. Kempinski. Angry Birds. I don't think it's on my other drive. D Mega. Is that my work? To grade. Upload. Fall. Oh. Nope, 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 nope. Yep, that must be on my other drive. All right, I'll show that next time. Yep, I've already moved that to my backup drive, so I don't have it on me. Dang it. All right. So I'll show more stuff next class. Basically, we're going to be learning everything from how do you build a chair and then building a drone and then all the stuff in between. We'll be doing text. The cool thing about Cinema 4D is that it is for motion designers. So if you wanted to take your designs that you've done, let's say in Illustrator, you could animate them flatly inside of After Effects, but then let's say you wanted to add actual 3D to them and make them like spin around or whatever, that's where Cinema 4D comes in. So there's a lot of really cool stuff that we can do with that. It bothers me I don't have that. Whatever. All right, cool. Any questions?
You'll be showing us how to do the demo reel, right, sir?
Yeah, I will show you everything, how to do everything for the class. Yep. Yes, sir.
When are we starting our first assignment?
Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday we'll be starting the room?
Yep, the mini room. So we'll be going over hotkeys. We'll be going over some 3D concepts, definitions. There's going to be a slow process at first, but we'll quickly ramp up because I'd like to get to that point where we're just kind of more production working, instead of hand-holding. Cool.
Yeah, no, it's kind of the big thing when it comes to all these macro classes, really. Starts off slow, but once we get more and done, we're getting more and more independent.
Yep. All right, if there's nothing else, then I will see you guys Wednesday, and then, cool. Have a good one.
And we get another 12, Sean.
You too.
Sean?
Sir.
Two things. Number one, the old chairs. What did McComb decide to do with those?
I don't know. I would have to ask Ben. I think that they were beyond saving because they were like so rickety, but he may have saved some. I'll ask him and see.
All right, because I'm just thinking about that for the school that I'm working for right now.
Right.
So
Let me write it down so I don't forget.
Yep, it's not a problem. I just figured because we've got a new classroom space up front, and they're working. It's a hybrid deal, so half of the time the kids are working on the computer, and we need. The school bought like the hard like dining chairs, and they got carpet like this.
Right.
This is a computer lab. So if they do go with those dinner style chairs, it's just gonna rip the heck out of the carpet. So like rolling chairs for like a normal computer lab would make more sense.
Yeah. Okay, I'll ask him about that.
And then number two, I had the advanced After Effects class on Saturday.
Right.
And he's looking for some kind of animation. And the problem was I did back up the ones that I did back in the fall, except it fell out of the car and got run over when my parents came in afterwards. So I lost all those files. I didn't need all of them. I just need he wants one really, really simple one.
Okay.
And I didn't know whether or not you still had those files from the last semester on there. I can bring a USB drive on Wednesday. He just
Bring one Wednesday. I'll try to remember that too. You labeled your stuff with Jujembo, right?
Yes.
Yep. I'll see if I can find one, and if I find one, it won't be today. If I find one tomorrow, I'll put it on Dropbox and just send you the link. You can just download it.
All right, that's perfect. I appreciate that, Sean.
Yep.
sitting in there too.
I know what that's like having
She's rocking it.
Hey, what up?
I'm gonna kind of got a few minutes to interrupt your class and steal that stuff out of the back, put it back in the other room.
Yeah, that's fine. We're done.
Okay.
Hey,
I don't know if you were.
one of my students works at a school,
Mhm.
and they get donations and stuff. What do we do with the old chairs?
Right now they're being held because they might reuse them.
They might reuse them.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. So some they tossed, but I got like 50 of them in my front office.
Okay. If they do get rid of them, can we donate them to somewhere?
Yeah, usually if you have a name or something at a place, we can just pass that over to Gary Watts in the warehouse.
Okay.
And then like they had like I forget which school, local Clintondale or something came in, picked up a bunch of tables and chairs.
Okay.
So if you got a recommendation, we can always send it to Gary.
Yeah, right here. We've got a vocational school down here on Common Road that we've got computer labs and we're looking for some rolling chairs. So that's what I was asking them for.
Yeah. So get the name of it and the contact person there,
All right.
and bring that in. And I'll give it to Ben. He'll give it to Gary.
Give it right to Sean. We'll send it right over.
All right, then I appreciate that.
Yeah, if it works, it works.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you guys.
Hey, anytime.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
For most of these days, for most of our class periods, do we leave like around 10:55?
Typically, it's going to be around 10:55. Next class will only be here probably for about 2 hours,
Okay.
just because it's still that first week and still getting you used to it. So figure about 10:30 Wednesday we'll leave.
Okay. I just wanted to get a little bit of a check.
Yeah.
On that. Thank you.
Yep.
See you on Wednesday.
Have a good one.
Alright, let's grab your stuff out.
Cool.
Did you only want two of those stools, Sean?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, Sean.
Mhm.
See this computer has a cable going across the door here?
Yeah.
Is there a reason that they won't do the network over here, or do you want me to get a network over here?
If we can get a network drop here, that'd be great. It was just, we don't use it that often, so it was just a good patch.
Okay, I understand. I see that I had a cable box, so I was just gonna say, if you want, I'll grab that off of there and I'll have them bring one over for you. Is this hooked up to your?
Yeah. Well, there was two there. One was for the printer, and then one was for that. Well, the one for that we pulled from the other room, just because it was live. But yeah, if they could put another drop in, that'd be great. But
That's what I'm saying. That's why I didn't know what that one.
oh no, this one I guess went here because the phone. There's something I think one of them was plugged into the phone. Yeah, this one's plugged into the phone. That's what it is. This one's on the phone because of that. So yeah, if you can get an extra drop there, then we can plug the printer and that's here, and then that one can come off the phone. Goes here. Well, maybe not. It just goes on.
Yeah, you. I noticed that during the move stuff in.
Yeah.
So I said, well, if you. I didn't know it's the same drop. I guess you guys have your own. I mean, so I think because I think
Our own switch.
Yeah, maybe it's your own switch because
Okay.
because of all the stuff you guys have.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to get the one off the phone. It's never been a huge deal. It hasn't interrupted anything, but
Right. Okay, so if I get to drop it in here, you're good with that.
yeah, I'll do that.
All right. All right.
Cool. Thanks.
Hey, anytime.
Hey Sean, I
Yes,
have you
ma'am.
again at 11. Would it be okay if I stayed in this room?
You get what?
I have you
Oh, at
again
11 too?
at motion.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, cool.
You're Morgan, right?
Yeah.
Do you have your portfolio from portfolio class?
I'm not done with it yet. I actually have a couple more things to work on, but if you'd like to see it, I can show it to you.
I would.
Just like the work
Just to
in
see what you got,
progress.
yeah.
Sure.
I hear overachiever. I like those words.
Well, that's just what like my professors say. I don't know if I am, but I like to do quality work, and I kind of go against that philosophy. Like, if you're paying the money, like of course you
I
should.
think that one's the opposite side.
Oh, actually, maybe it's down here.
It's right here.
Oh,
See?
gotcha. Thank you.
high school did you go to?
Lanphier High School.
Where's that?
It's in Madison Heights at 12 and John Road.
Did they have any stuff like we do?
No, I took like all the art classes there, but it was just like fundamentals of art with
Traditional
drawing
art
and
stuff,
stuff.
yeah.
I got kind of lucky when I was in high school, and I got to do a internship when I was like 15.
Mhm.
So I started working and doing graphic design and social media and stuff for like this small little company. And then over the past couple of years, I've just kind of like ascended the ranks there, and now I kind of handle like all of their creative stuff.
Very cool.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I think I've learned a lot in that time, but I'm looking to maybe move on within the next year.
You're good.
I also just got accepted to CCS for like the fall, so I'm probably gonna finish up my bachelor's degree there.
What is your end goal?
I want to be a user interaction designer.
Okay.
I really like web, but I also like graphic design too, and I'd like to maybe incorporate 3D into user interaction design. I was trying to intern at GM last winter, and they wanted 3D and I didn't have it yet,
Mhm.
so that was kind of the problem. I definitely think UI is going to go towards 3D,
Yep.
especially, so I want to get better at that.
Good. Try minimizing. It looks like something is like highlighted.
It's so weird. I've never had that happen. I know.
And then hit Control L.
Control L.
Yep. There it goes.
Yeah. So what I'm working on the concept right now is I wanted to do something a little kind of in between a tear sheet and a portfolio.
Mhm.
So instead of having my work, I wanted to have more of like a magazine, and basically each piece in the magazine is going to have like an in-depth case brief that kind of talks about the behind-the-scenes things and the process and stuff like that.
Right.
Because I feel like I didn't really want to have a tear sheet because I feel like most of my work is going to be interactive on a website because I like to do web design. But if I did have to have something that was printed, actually I'm going to set this up for spreads. Should be like, I saved it as spreads from InDesign, but sometimes it doesn't display it correctly.
Under view maybe?
Yeah.
I've never done that.
I guess I can just show it to you without spreads, but it really makes a difference with the spread. Because it's a magazine, so this is kind of like these little sections like you would see on a magazine, and this is my photography.
Mhm.
In addition to liking all that other stuff, I also really like photography.
That's awesome.
So I made like table of contents, and then I have like highlighted projects. Some of it's in it, some of it's not been added yet. So kind of what I had in mind was maybe like top comments, and then this would be like my introduction letter. This is like one of the interactive books I just finished in Mike's class and then my process, and here's kind of a write up about it. So basically the idea is that they're all case briefs. So this is kind of like a brief about designing the book. I wanted to do a whole thing about like microsites that I've designed. So here's some of those. And I can show you these if you'd like. I have like them live on the site. But I can show you this later. Here's some packaging I've done in Mary's class. I I mean, I like all the professors here,
Oh,
but
that's good.
I have a couple that I've really like bonded with.
Yep.
Some
Yeah, Mary is
different
fantastic.
professors.
She will really go out her way for everyone.
Yeah. Here's another one of my pieces that's more like a layout piece.
Go back to that one. You're not done with this one, right? This is placeholder.
This is done.
The picture's done.
I haven't written this yet.
Right. Okay. Just making sure.
That's what I'm working on right now, is doing the write-ups, and Brian wanted some differentiated content in there that we talked about. There's another like I've done a lot of like jewelry design because that's where I work.
Mm-hmm.
So jewelry, social media and stuff. This is a type poster I did for futurism, and it's based on these like futurist manifestos. Because during the futurist period, they kind of threw out the grid basically, and it was all about like these new styles of type alignment. So I focused on that for my futurism poster in Mary's class. There's no energy posters that I designed with a group in Chris's advanced layout class. Here's my process for that. And this hasn't really written yet. This is a spread, so this is why I wanted to show you the spreads, because basically this is a cluster of all of my like sketch stuff. So I have like pages from my sketchbooks and some of the digital illustration I've done, some life drawing I've done, some illustration pieces. This is more of a work in progress still. There's some like logos I've designed. There's gonna be more here. Here's some of my photography, my studio photography. And then this is another piece that I did. I'm really into like cities and more urban photography.
Mm-hmm.
Here's more studio photography I've done.
Good morning, Mr. Sarcone. Oh, hey, you got
Hit a button.
your launch pad.
Hit
Oh, anything
one
that's
of the light yellow ones, but tell a joke first.
why did the duck cross the road?
Why?
I don't even have to hit the punchline.
No.
How long's it
Oh,
go?
hold on. Sorry, hold on. Hold on. That's the wrong one. Hit the white underneath there to stop. Hold on.
Oh my gosh.
Let me find out which
Oh,
one.
I'm gonna need one of these.
Hold on. I have a Mike Crum sound. I didn't play it when you came in.
Wah,
You are
wah.
number 4.
In
Number
green?
4. Nope, in orange.
Oh yeah.
They're also
Push it real good. I may break out. Handouts. There was supposed. Come on, have a dance break to start your day. Push it real good.
That's what that one's for. That's the dance one. The other yellow green one. The single in the road.
God, and I actually had a question.
Are your handouts?
Yeah. First day's done. I'm going to go print it right now. You said there were a series of maybe 5 or 6 handouts that were.
I have.
Did they get delayed?
No, I got those.
Okay.
I just haven't
You
passed
just
them
need
out
to
yet, 'cause
separate.
I just picked them
Okay.
up this morning.
Okay.
I still have to get my first days. I sent those first, but they printed them, I guess, last.
I built a first day, and I'm going to print it right now.
Yeah. No, for my classes, I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I get it.
But I got all the other stuff. I got the student agreements and whatever else.
Well, give me a handful of student agreements.
On the floor?
But there were a handful of things that you said we're going to get for 1320.
Yeah, they're.
Are they on their way?
No,
You just
those are
have
the ones
to.
I have to separate still.
Oh, I don't care. Okay, so that's where they're.
Yeah. you'll-
Not a problem. Should I kind of come back and forth to that class and tell everybody, or put something
You
on
put a sign up there
on the board?
on the board. Just
Okay.
Say
11 o'clock. 1320.
Yeah. Go
Yeah,
to this room.
okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Mike's another one of my favorite professors.
Yeah. Good.
Hi, Miss
I'm not.
Morgan.
I can't go up there.
Hi, Miss Morgan. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back.
Thanks. There's more layout stuff I've done. There's more layout stuff. This is from American Psycho, and it's like I don't know if you've seen that movie. movie, there's this whole scene about business cards, and it really illustrates like the insecurity of men that are in power. And it's everyone is like, they're all vice presidents, they all have the same job, and they're all like, well, look at my business card, and then they're like, oh, it's so fancy, I'm so intimidated by it, and it just goes into this whole like in-depth thing within his brain.
That's
And
funny.
how he's like obsessed with it. So I really focused on that when designing this. Here's some of the resort things I did in Chris's class. This is one of the brochures I designed. I'm gonna have a full write-up with the full resort eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Right now I just put the brochure in here. This is the end page for now, and I'm gonna add more content to it. It's kind of a work in progress right now.
Right. Like you said, you want to do interactive stuff, so
Yeah.
you want to have some interface things.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Thank you. This is also my photography. I'm building like a whole series I want to do. I went to Japan in last fall, so I have like a whole bunch of like, Tokyo photos that I want to start integrating.
Did you
with stuff.
print off Illustrator?
I did.
I grabbed the wrong one.
That's awesome.
Thanks. Sorry. Is there any suggestions of graphic that I can create?
There's not really anything that's jumping out at me. But like you said, you're still kind of working on the layouts of things.
What do you think of the work itself?
The work is really nice. Like, I like the work, and I love how you explained it too. Because I mean, that's what they're after. They're not after somebody who can just reproduce work all day long. They want somebody who actually knows why they're doing it and the stuff behind it. Yeah, those are very nice, very clean.
I had a lot of fun doing this. I would probably do another book when I get time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anything you're doing like that too, make sure that they can get to it, right? So you said you have a website too.
Yeah, I do have a website. I have a couple websites, but
Where's the main one? If I want to look you up, am I going to pull that one up?
well, I have my website, which I'm going to redo probably soon, probably over spring break.
Okay.
I can show that to you, but where I have most of my MACA projects hosted right now is like my MACA website.
Okay.
So I have like this one, which definitely needs to be, I don't like the layout of it anymore. So it's kind of the same thing where I have like some of my projects and things like that. And you can like open them in like a modal style, and they'll go forward and things like that.
It was responsive to.
Yeah. But where I have them actually hosted is on the Mecca site. And this guy, once it loads, so anyway, it has like all of my web projects that I've done. So if I went to that Shinola one,
Mm-hmm.
this guy, this is like totally responsive built. They're all live.
That's awesome.
And then like links and stuff. If I went to any of these, like the whole reality one, really do. I'm not really super into these projects as much as some of my other ones, but yeah. If I showed you this in a different browser, I've actually tested this in Internet Explorer and it hasn't been updated to the newest version yet.
Right.
Is there another browser?
Yeah,
I
just
can
hit type Chrome. It's Chrome.
I wrote this plugin to, it's like a Firefly effect.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also really into coding as much as I like to do design, which is kind of like my thing. I really want to take one of those coding classes at Grand Circus when I get the chance. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Downtown they have classes where you can do like a boot camp for 12 weeks and it's like $4,000 I think. And when you come out you know like PHP and JavaScript
Wow.
and more in-depth web development programs. Try to figure out how to talk into my face.
You're good.
Okay, so I wrote this plugin that's like all fireflies and stuff, and it took a lot.
From scratch?
Well, I took a plugin that was like not like this at all.
Right.
And then I completely like Frankensteined it and modified it to be like this.
That's amazing.
And it's like I'm just really into it, and I think this is what my new website's gonna focus more on is like the front page and then like the back pages that are more portfolio pieces.
Mm-hmm. It's very cool.
So that's kind of what I'm about.
Thank you for sharing that.
No problem. I'm also doing skills in June.
Okay.
For Macomb for web.
So you and Evan, you're going for web though, hey.
Mhm.
So yeah.
I'm also my partner is Michaela Frank-Ziger. I don't know if
I don't know her.
her. She's like a really great designer. She's really good at layout and stuff. I'm sure if you mentioned her to Mary, Mary would talk about her. Yeah.
That's very cool.
Thank you. I'm glad I got to show that to you.
Want to run over and see if my other copies are done.
chilling.
Wait a minute. And now you're broke.
If I was not already broke. It's actually not that it's not as expensive as Starbucks or something. But music. Oh. Do they have I did not they have music now? No, but I buy music. You buy music? I buy lots of music. I buy so much music, it's ridiculous. Like I have CDs, yeah, but CDs and special editions. No, and I bought the entire 7-issue run of limited comic book series for Christmas, and they're all autographed by the artists.
Hey there, Josh.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much.
So I'm guessing you're the teacher for the stop motion class?
No, that's stop motion.
Huh?
It's not stop motion.
Sorry, I must have missed.
Motion graphics.
Yes, that one. I'm
After Effects.
losing my mind.
That's alright, we can lose it.
I'll be very lost. I guess getting further gone.
Put this back in. How are you? Good. That's your song. That's all you get.
Aw, that's it?
That's it.
That's not enough.
I got to load in my buffer. That's all I
No
got.
dance
Where's
break?
Mike's sign?
Come on.
Mike, come on in.
Oh, yeah.
I feel so underpowered.
Okay, I want this. This is hilarious.
It's awesome, right?
I'm in the quiet room. Right?
How are you?
Good. So I'm just wondering if it's okay, because you told me
To come during this class?
last semester because I wouldn't be able to do the 8 to 10:55 p.m. class,
Mhm.
so I could come in either before
Yep.
or after the 2 o'clock class. So I was wondering if it's okay if I come in before.
Yeah, that's fine.
Back at 2:25:60.
Mhm. Yeah, that works. You're just going to get the handout for that class for today. And then, obviously, there's not going to be any work, so when you come in Wednesday, we won't have that stuff done because I have to do their stuff and then give it to you the next day, right?
So I'm just wondering, just so I have an understanding of how this is going to work. So I'm going to get the handout for it.
Right, I'll give you the handout for 2560 today, not 25, whatever this is, 1900, okay? And then, so you'll just be a day behind the 2560 class.
Okay.
That's it.
I can do. So are you going to be doing like a lot of demonstration, like with the videos?
Well, anything I do on the computer, I'll do it here. But then anything outside, I wouldn't record that. So you would just miss out on those things. So like Wednesday, we're going to be taking some pictures, and then I'm going to show how we can then take those pictures and put them together. So you won't see the how to take the pictures part, but you will see the putting it together.
Okay.
Okay?
So
Not a huge deal.
should I be in Wednesday for like the full hour, or what do you want me to do?
For here, no, don't even worry about coming in Wednesday for this one. Because there's not going to be anything to do Wednesday.
Okay, so just show up for the 2 o'clock class until next week, and then that's when.
That's when you start coming in. Yep. Does that work for you?
Yeah, that works.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Meg? Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, do you have the paper for it? Or?
I do, yeah. I have to.
Just take your time.
I just got my papers. They didn't have them ready, and I had to go down and get them. And
One thing that I know that's like any time all but
this is this class. It is interesting. It's a diffuser, so that people will be calm and collective in class. Otherwise, it'd be freaking out. It is.
Well, you did the hybrid. So it's half online.
No, this one I
You already leaving me?
No, you don't.
Wait, what? Oh. Thought he gave up. Before I even talked. How we doing, Devin? Nope. Photoshop is going to be in 155 down the hall. It got moved, yep. Nuke and Mocha, After Effects a little bit, Photoshop. Yeah, yeah. Yep. You're able to get it, the Nuke stuff you're able to get for free.
Okay, that's the After Effects, right?
Yeah, just the After Effects, you obviously you have that already. But 20.
What was I doing?
You can take one of these, and I'll just give you another one. They somehow printed the wrong one. They printed 20 2 times instead of 2560. So just ignore the last sheet. I'll print a new one for you for that.
Okay.
Unless I just updated it. No, that's it. Yeah. Yeah. So just ignore that last sheet.
Okay, and that's it for today?
Yep. Well, I'm gonna go through the stuff, but yeah, it's good.
Is it pretty much the same as last semester going through it?
Yep. So sketches. That thing. And then when you're here for the other class, I'll go through all that stuff. Okay.
No, I'm here only for this class.
What? Yeah, they're all together. Different months. How we doing, Sarah?
I'm still on class. So yeah. So just come in, listen, and then do stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't pass anything out yet.
You could probably fix that with one of the others.
because they're new. They haven't been destroyed yet. Yeah.
Well, now that you mention it, they still have the tags on it, so okay.
That's why she liked that seat. So bouncy. 19.
All the tags on the chairs.
I went to email and I was like,
Yep, this is what this is. Started to get richer than trying to lose some weight, so.
to look into it.
What?
Protein mix. Did Maca get it's an acquired taste, so the more you take it, the more
New
you
chairs.
My friend's like, do the chocolate one. Do not do any other flavors, especially
Valentina Basho. Basho? Basho. Mary Beth Cairns? Did I say that any more close? Do you know a Joe? Joseph? No. Brandon Constantine? Shaylin, right there. Sarah Hirsch, I saw you right there. Same seat. Nice. Joseph Krakowski, there. Austin, I've seen. Morgan, I've seen. Jessica Leger. Leger? Leger? Oh, I'll sit you next to Austin. Nicholas McGee, right there. Michael Paluziak, I think I saw him. Yep. Josh Price, I saw. Marianne Pupka. No, Marianne?
She's here.
Oh, she's okay. She's in that spot. Anna Solis, right there. I had you in Illustrator or Photoshop? Photoshop. Nice. Jenny Bang. Elizabeth Van Hout. Van Hootie. Liz. Okay, remind me a million times. Jenna Zielinski. She's sick. That's unacceptable. Marantha Zuletia. How do you say it? Maranatha? Mari. Okay, again, remind me a million times. Cool. So, Sarah, you can sit wherever. There's a seat there and a seat there. That way it doesn't look awkward.
Too late.
It's too late. All right, my name is Sean Sarcona. This is Introduction to Motion Graphics. Everyone here for that? I'll just give you a bunch. I'll give you a bunch, and then hopefully you'll meet in the middle. Forgive my mess up here. My handouts weren't ready last week when I thought they would be, and then I had to run down and pick them up, and now I'm playing catch up, so whatever. So our goal for today is to go through this. There's a bunch of people on a wait list hoping that I scare at least a good portion of you out of this class. Nope, we got one missing. So she will be there. And then we're jam-packed. Where are we at? 1900. Cool. There we go. All right, so the cover of your first day handout. Extras? How did that happen? Did everyone get a first day handout? Cool. All right. The cover of this shows a student in the center, and then they show the specialties and MACA around it, and then there's tiny dots there. Does anyone make any observations about all the dots and stuff? What's that? Say it again? No, not the quote. Look at the quote. They're all kind of blended together. That's the gist of that. In this class, this is a motion animation class. So we're going to be focusing in on 2D animation. We'll be touching on what's called 2.5D animation. And that is basically animating stuff in 2D, but it looks kind of 3D, okay? But the gist of this is that everything is kind of connected and they're kind of blurred together. So even though this class is for motion design and for animation, you may find things in this class that apply to other areas, and you may find other areas that apply to this class. So things like 3D or your drawing skills or your Photoshop or your obviously your After Effects, your Illustrator, your whatever, all those skills play a big role in your success not only in this class but as a student altogether. Okay, and then the quote on the bottom, which Anna pointed out. Oops. You can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking backward. So you have to trust the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something, your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. Steve Jobs.